Oh yeah! Welcome out, y'all. This is the Remix Morning Show. Right here on Black Liberation Media. In case you didn't know, I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. We are here to bring you that boom bap breakfast. If not them, it gotta be us. You know how we do it, so get on the bus and represent. Let me also represent with my partner in Crump, PNC. Let's get it, Dr. Jared.
Yo, what's up, Ear Doctor? What's up, Remixers?
What's good?
Salute to the late, great, legendary Fred Stubblefield.
Fred Stubblefield. You heard that? You heard that drum?
Of course I heard that.
A chop. That was Lyrics of Fury, Eric B. and Rakim.
It has to be the most sampled of all time.
Yes, sir.
Drum. And to think, when you see the interviews, Fred was not impressed with the beat, didn't even like it.
Word?
Yeah, he said he was just sitting there one day and messing around, and James Brown came in there and was like, do that again. And he was like, again. What? Yeah, do that again. or I'm a dock your pay.
Exactly.
Charge that man $20.
I liked his style.
But yeah, Clyde. It was Clyde. My bad. Brother Jamil in the building. My bad. My bad.
You know he on
Big bro.
Hey,
Big bro, we on it. Are you sure it wasn't Fred, though?
Oh, see.
No, because it was Fred Wesley. That's right. Fred. Clyde, so yeah, and then something that was and then he said and in the interview he's just kind of like he was like I master play it everywhere I go and he's just like, you know, and I'm like, my dude,
man,
legendary. But you know what? I also shout out to Dr. Scott Brown, who my Africana homeboy, brilliant professor. And he's got some work coming out. He's going to be coming through here sooner than later. And he told me some things about the music world, heavy into the music world. Brilliant Africana scholar, written about the US organization. I mean, he's done so many things. But his love is funk music. He plays, he studies. He and I went to see Maceo Parker play when we were up there in Ithaca, saw that band. So like he introduced me to a lot of the Afrocentric background in funk music and the iconography and all that. Anyway, but he also said that, well, one thing I'm not allowed to share because it's going to come out in his forthcoming book, but it's kind of mind blowing. And but now I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, now I forgot what I was going to say. We was just talking about that.
I walked into the other room to get something, came back, I was like, damn, what was I about to do?
I forgot what I was going to say.
All right, you was leading up to God damn. See, now I gotta work on my listening skills. You was talking about Stubblefield, and then you went to Stubblefield and then started talking about
Scott
Brown. And he was saying something that was in his book.
I can't share. He told me something I cannot share, and I remember that. And I remember that I cannot share it either.
Maybe you was ready to share it and you realized,
no. There was something else. There was a shareable part to that I'm just, that's what it was. So he was on a separate panel, so I didn't get to see him, but we were both at the hip hop studies annual conference there at Howard. Where of course I'm not, I'm put on the end of the weekend extra panel that don't even make it in the brochure. So that's why I didn't see him. He was on the highlight superstar panel the day before. But what he shared was that, and I don't know if you remember any of this. I wasn't old enough to catch this. He's a little bit older than me, but he said that when, and this was sort of this is where I was going. Stubblefield was not thrilled with that beat and was not really, I mean, he was curious. He seemed curious, but less excited about hip hop taking and running with it.
Mm-hmm.
And Dr. Brown was saying that people ignore the reality that the hip hop history is missing, the reality that a lot of folks were resistant to it. Not just the bougie folks that we've heard about, but a lot of the remaining jazz, funk, soul, they were just not moved by it. They were like, and he had to remind folks, like, when I heard people rhyming over other people's music, I was pissed.
Yeah.
He was like, what is this blasphemy?
It's like ushering in a whole new, like, genre in a way. I don't want to say the right word, but it's like bringing in a whole new load of people that's like, okay, we're going to do it this way. Like when jazz was doing this thing, hip hop came. I'm sure when, what's another music that came along? Maybe when disco came along, they was like, what is this bullshit? You know what I'm saying? So whenever live bands went into being able to be played, like on the pads and stuff, like these producers, hip hop producers, they was like, man, even with me, with live bands, when a DJ comes, we don't need a whole live band. We need one person, and that's me, the DJ. So I'm pretty sure live bands hate my ass. I get it. I come take their money, and they only got to pay me as much as they got to pay a band.
Apparently, Chuck Brown said something similar, and he said we need a way to compete with the DJ who is able to loop and keep music going and keep the party going, and that's another reason why you got the go-go content. You got the go-go rhythm that if you go to a show, it keeps going, like they don't stop, so it keeps the thing going into the next song. That was part of the.
I don't see how y'all drummers do that shit for hours. That shit is remarkable.
Part of it is you're younger. Because there were a couple Mama's Biscuits marathon shows, you know what I'm saying?
Let's talk about it.
And of course I'm gonna talk about it. And
I know they're like, oh, here we go.
I know the chat is loving that. Here they go again, Mama's Biscuits. Yeah. But I do remember, it is true, like go-go bands will they'll take a break or whatever. There's an intermission or they'll do a little break or whatever. But I remember there were nights leaving where it felt like I had been in the gym all day. Arms tired, back hurt.
Yeah. I could
you gotta, you know. But you know, it's the adrenaline, it's the liquor, it's the other, you know, all of that. It's the
I would say even for DJ, for me, I have my back will be hurting from standing so long. And then at the same time, I'm doing like this the whole time, like 4 hours straight, dancing with everybody else playing music. And that shit take a wear on you. A lot of DJs' backs is fucked up.
I believe it.
For real.
Yeah, see Eli.
Yes.
Lord. And you know, I'm telling you, we might need to have a Mama's Biscuits documentary.
In the words of Nori, I need you to relax. I'm gonna reel you on back in a documentary.
We need a VH1 Where Are They Now documentary. And,
documentary.
But there is, you know, I mean, the reunion is unfortunately probably never going to happen, and some of it has to do with like real, you know, what would be like real life major band issues, like at a micro level. I mean, people got relationships,
it would be funny
issues with life, you know.
Yeah, damn. I was thinking about my old rap group, but everybody's doing good in my old rap group. Crazy. Like,
well, shout out to them.
Yeah, the Roughnecks. That was my group back in 92, 93 era. One of my people is Rick Rock. He's out in California producing Too Short, E40, everybody. Other guy is
married
a rich woman. And then the other one works in tech in Texas. He's doing very good. So big up to all my
He said
whole.
married rich. That's
Yeah,
what
he
he did.
married.
That's
what
how
you
you
get.
know what. That's what I'm talking about.
That's how you get up in this world and like.
I didn't
without
marry
being careless.
rich, but I married. I know who's on the way up. Who's gonna carry me, drag me across the finish line of life.
Yeah, and the
So I
good
was
thing
like, let
is
me.
you got a 2-income household, so that's always a positive. Shit.
It's really like one in a hook.
Yeah, but the thing is, with more than I guess I'm thinking
No,
like
it's two incomes. This is
every time you eat, it's like never under $40.
From Popeyes to Professor, the Dr. Ball story. Wow. Wow. Mama scones. That's messed up, Maggie.
Yeah, that's old. We use that one. Don't
It's
come
all
at my
good
boy
though.
like that.
Mama's biscuits. I'm telling you, they just wasn't there for the legendary. You know what I'm saying? My wife is incredible, Elon. No doubt. I am a lucky man, and almost fucked it up.
Man,
Once upon a time. So like, yeah.
I'm still trying to wrap my hands around this word luck, but I guess it is what it is. You know what I mean? So to me, sometimes it feels like a hater word, and I'm not saying who is in the chat is a hater or anything, but sometimes it feels like it's a word that a hater would use, or like it must be nice. You know, certain things that people say like that.
Yeah. But
it's like, damn, why can't I be blessed with this thing right here? Why can't I have worked hard enough and put myself in a position to be here instead of me being lucky? I don't know.
I mean, you know, I've also heard the line, you know, you make your own luck. I didn't take you're a lucky man in the hater way. I took it as that's how I feel.
Yeah.
Because that while I could maybe frame it as I made my own luck. I did this, that, you know, and in the end, I made the right decision of letting her pick me. But you know, I do feel lucky. I mean, in the sense that it's not given that you're going to find somebody that you can, you know, rock through life with.
Chat room, tell me what's the difference between luck and blessed, lucky and blessed.
Well, for me, it's that it's the secular way of blessing. Like I don't believe in a divine deity that's conferring a blessing onto me. And I don't believe it, but I'd also, you know, so I believe, you know, so for me, luck is just a way of pointing to sort of the randomness of the universe that
okay
had,
it's not,
you know,
like,
because I don't think people who suffer in this world did something to deserve it. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't think that they, you know, and people who don't find a good working partner for themselves, I don't think that they're unlucky in the sense that they've brought something on themselves or they're cursed or something like that. It's also just that relationships are rough. I mean, you know, there's and then there's a lot of other things. There's health issues. There's, you know, I'm at the age where, you know, people's spouses are passing away early, you know? So like, there's stuff like that. There's, you know, people who get together and then there's an illness and the relationship that they maybe going to have gets turned in a different way. I mean, my homeboy, rest in peace, Marcus, had a beautiful relationship building and then lost his eyesight, and that changed their relationship. You know, like, so like, you know, just little things like that. I don't think anybody in that sense was cursed or did something to bring, you know, so that's what I mean.
It's the religious, spiritual connotation of being blessed. Like this is because of this is you, and I, God, have picked this to happen to you.
So then if people don't have that kind of relationship, and they do believe, are they walking around feeling like they've been punished by the divine? Like, are they feeling like they didn't find their spouse or their relationships failed because they were being punished?
Ain't that part of the whole religious thing? Is like, if you don't pray, if you don't do certain things, then God ain't gonna bring you to heaven. Like,
yeah, but I don't know, man.
I mean, that's if that is your belief. If it's not, I get it. Then if you don't have that connection with a higher being or whatever, then it's like, oh well, look what happened to me. A 4-leaf clover. I'm lucky. I don't know. Pondering. That's all. Just pondering. Book
A knock of pondering.
Yes, sir. So I think we're supposed to have some other people coming through. I don't know. I know later at 10 we got root work coming on after this. And
Right
then
on.
at 11 we also have something that I know that Dr. Jared Ball will appreciate. We'll be doing
So I saw that.
classical breakdown with DJ Premier on.
I
DJ
saw
Premier's
that.
production.
This is the first time I felt a little bit of a kind of way. This is one of the rare moments where I was like, I didn't get called for this. Like, I can't get invited to this.
Yo, it was
Like,
super
that's
last night.
My guy of guys. But
and
it's
you gotta
all
go
good.
somewhere after this.
I
too.
do. I'm gonna be in a faculty meeting anyway, so that's why I was
Yeah.
like, they had to do this. They had to.
I know. Why
it's
are we
gonna be
here? What's
fire,
one of
though.
your favorite Premiere tracks?
Oh man, obviously Come Clean. I mean, it was my ringtone for years.
Oh, wow.
So my children were introduced to Come Clean by hearing my phone ring. They didn't even know what that was for a long time. They were like, boom, boom, bing, boom.
Bing, bing, bing,
But
bing,
yesterday,
bing.
right before, well, the day before yesterday morning, the day before, so Monday, I heard after a long time, Kick in the Door. And I was in the parking lot kind of losing it. And I love that track. It is so inappropriate lyrically. There's all kinds of problems with it. But I love it. But that one, I mean, unbelievable. I mean, this is so many. I mean, it could go on and on. He did whatchamacallit for D'Angelo.
Devil's Pie.
Devil's Pie.
Lady
Nas
remix.
is like Ferdinand said. That is crazy. I mean, he
even did something for Christina Aguilera.
He did. The joint he did, the one he even did for Limp Bizkit, I thought was hot.
Yeah,
he's done a lot of once he figured out his formula, similar to James Brown, similar to Prince, similar to other legendary geniuses. There's like they find their formula and they run with it. And
can we say
New York State of Mind? Darius is exactly right.
Can we say he's the Quincy Jones of hip hop? Like throughout the decades he's been around, from the 80s to now. He's even working on a new album with Nas right now. Like he's seen the decades go and still is looked at as one of the dopest producers.
That's an interesting comparison.
Because I can't think of any other producer that after doing the Quincy Jones, I was like,
I don't know. I'd have to think about that a little bit. There's a couple of oh wow, Zenzabel is emphatically saying no. And I don't know. I feel like that's a diss against Premier. So I don't want to be at odds with Zenzabel so early in the morning.
Well, I don't mind.
I
don't mind being at odds.
I know
with
you
Zenzabel.
don't. Yeah, but we can't just have wanton Premier hate and the
Banner.
No, I don't know, man.
Nah. That's the way I think we do. We don't like
she's clarified. Thank you, Zenzi. Thank you, Zenzi.
Yeah, dope as all. I was about to say, how about the banner?
My one hesitation is that Quincy Jones was not only a musical genius, and now I'm hearing Eddie Murphy doing Stevie Wonder's a musical genius in my head, but he produced a lot for a lot of people. So Premier has done that as well. My only hesitation is I need to know more about other producers' track records. If we, there might be someone else who did, I mean,
him and Pete Rock, I would say.
Pete Rock, but even, Q-Tip, on the low, I think, I don't think he's quite on this tier, but on the low, I think Eric Sermon gets overlooked because he did a lot for a lot of people that people don't even know about.
But
I don't know. There's some
longevity?
others. Mad Lib. That's an RZA and Mad Lib are very. The chat is as usual strong. RZA and Mad Lib would be.
And Dr. Dre. I don't know. Dr. Dre to me is he's
When
good, but
Scott Storch can make a beat that everybody thinks is yours, I don't. I've taken them both down several pegs on my because Scott Storch. One of the major hits for Dre is a Scott Storch track that he just did in the style. I think it's that head ringing or one of them. And yeah, I'm with that. Like I don't put Dre on the level of Premier.
Cause he'll just take a regular funkadelic track and just take it and loop it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like how
Hold up.
Pete Rock will
Yipper.
Yipper started with violence. Yipper said something else earlier too, and I was like, I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm gonna let Yipper live. But
shame.
so what does that mean for us who don't get the inside joke?
So I said the other day, and salute to Yipper for paying attention. I forgot exactly who we were talking about, but Tim Pool was apparently a fan of somebody I was a fan of, and I was like, I can't be a fan of them anymore if I know Tim Pool is out there rocking to him like that but he can't have Premier, so I just have to. That's messed up, Yipper. That was funny though. Mm-hmm. The only reason I wouldn't put Dilla on the list, unfortunately, is just longevity.
Yeah.
Dilla, I mean, he definitely changed the game. He definitely. And what I found out, so when we were doing years ago, when I was working with my man Bashi on the George Jackson video mixtape, we wanted to use Dilla tracks, and we had gotten permission from the Dilla Foundation and Ma Dukes. But come to find out, the tracks we wanted to use were owned by some I don't know what background he is ethnically or racially, but some man in England. And we roped him to get permission and explained to him the project, explained to him what it was, said it wasn't about making money. We were like, there's not going to be any money being made. And he wrote back, and his email said an emphatic no. And he said, I would never release these tracks for such a project. So it was a reminder of the colonized status and the theft of the art and the limitations of the art. And even Dilla's family doesn't have the ability to say who can and can't use every and all tracks. So yeah.
Yeah. I think you, as a producer, you have to, at least in hip hop, you have to start in the 80s. And still be relevant to this time to be considered.
Well, that's not fair. I mean, you can't. So nobody young can get to that.
When we talking hip hop and longevity, when we talking Quincy Jones, that's what I was saying as the comparison to decades.
I see.
Yeah, you gotta at least have started in.
So people like Ninth Wonder, you think could get there one day? I mean,
I would feel like he got to put out a little bit more. Or maybe in my ears just ain't around to hear every production. And then does Knife Wonder's beat stand out? Like I can tell a Premier beat by the scratching. I could tell a Pete Rock beat by the soul in it. I would have to listen to some more Ninth Wonder. I love Ninth Wonder, but I don't know. It's just certain things stand out to me. Like I know a Pharrell beat. I know a Pharrell beat as soon as I hear it. I'm like, oh, that's Pharrell. I'm gonna start dancing.
But we wouldn't put Pharrell on there. Are we putting Pharrell and them up here?
Like he started in the 90s with Rex and Effects, but Timberland. I mean, he is one of the greatest producers.
Timberland did change the game. He was a change.
Yeah.
He deserves some.
But now you're just taking aside Pharrell's politics. No,
I do like High Tech. High Tech is dope.
High Tech was dope, especially that album we did.
Just Blaze is dope. I do like Just Blaze, and I think he's funny. He said, "I just make beats so I can smoke weed and play video games." Mm-hmm. He was like, "That's all I really want to do." I said, "I can relate." I'm not. Hey, what's wrong with that? Sounds like a good life to me.
call and see if anybody else is coming real quick.
But I do have something, and I have a like a serious story I'd like to get to that actually comes with if we wanted to watch the whole thing, which I think would be of value. Is it comes with a whole 15-minute video clip, which I didn't think you would be interested in. But if we have, if I'm up here solo
we
today,
got time.
it's a strong story too, and so it's actually. Contrary to my normal contributions to the morning show, a little bit of substance.
Yeah, normal contributions, huh?
No, I'm not talking about Roland Martin, but I would like. I didn't even get a chance to catch up. I don't want to say it's a lot. For me, it's a lot, and I really do like it. That there seems to be this sizable audience that only they don't. Like, I don't have a lot of followers. People, my stuff doesn't get reposted. Like, I don't get all the kind of stuff. Like, Kamal will have 1,000 retweets on his stuff. I don't get any of that. But what I do have is this small little crew of people that are like, when something around Black capitalism happens or Roland Martin starts talking about ad revenue, I get a flood. People are like, you got to see what Roland said. And I love it. I appreciate it. But I have not. There's a couple messages about Roland and some about him getting $350,000 to promote Kamala, and then some other stuff. He's back on the ad revenue thing again. Apparently, I just haven't had a chance to catch up. Because I actually had to do some real academic like faculty work this week, man.
Work?
Like real work, I'm
like grading papers type shit.
Even better. It's a funny situation that would require more of a long story, but the funnily enough, I'm the senior faculty member in the College of Liberal Arts and have to preside over tenure and promotion committees.
Okay,
which is funny.
Just got
because people who are more expert in leadership. Are on the committee with me, but I'm technically supposed to be in charge. But we had a great conversation yesterday. We did what we were supposed to do, and I really like that. This is stuff I like, where we had to assess people's dossiers, go through their work, their resumes, assess their applications. We had little pleasant debates about the quality of the work, how work should be measured, how you weight certain contributions, and shout out to some faculty at Morgan State. I'll say more, when things are announced, but there's some brilliant people out here, and it was a great day yesterday for me on that level, but it was also a kind of a sad reminder that a lot of the great work people are trying to do in the academic world gets suppressed by these institutions, by a society that presents academia in a certain way, and presents certain scholars in a certain way. And there's all these people really trying to do good work, particularly at an HBCU with underserved, as they like to say, Black students. And it was nice. It was a nice little bubble moment that I know will burst probably today when I go to this meeting. And, but it was cool.
Well, I just got a text from the Thursday crew. Kamal is about to do a panel at 9:00, which he didn't text and let anybody know, as per usual. Kim will be here in a minute. Overslept. I'm just putting all the business out there. I don't give a fuck. But big
That's
up to
what happens when you mess around with him, doctor. He put your business in the streets. He's like,
listen.
You mess up my production. I snitch.
That mean I got to work extra hard after I done went and got the breaks together. Now I got to talk longer, and I enjoy the conversation. Ball, don't get
right,
twisted.
yeah, of course.
But yeah, so
Large
that
professor,
Large Professor, not enough from Large Professor.
Not enough, but I saw him, man. Saw him perform on 8th Street a couple years ago, man. I actually went out the house and saw him do a show. Shout out to Large Professor.
Okay. So, damn, what was I about to say? I forgot already. But
you were switching on everybody.
I was.
You have to work hard when people don't show up.
But I was today I got a pizza party with all my students. Oh, I remember what I was about to say. So yeah, I got a pizza party for all my students last day until come back in December. And I was just thinking, like, with what you're saying, like being in an institution, you can't say what you want to say, but being in an after school program and creating your own after school program, being able to have your own working on a academy type thing where you can come and do your certain things. That's where the power is. I mean, like you said, you can't say certain things. You got somebody all on your back. I'm so happy to be able to say whatever I want to say in, not too crazy, but being able to go and talk about hip hop, give them history of Africa, give them the history of their people at the same time by teaching hip hop. So there's ways I could talk about other things. And I feel y'all could do it too. But now I think with this whole Trump thing and how they talking about education, like teachers scared to talk about history, scared to talk about what happened to the white man, or they gonna get fired. They gonna get put to rest. So I would encourage people if they can, if they teachers work on after school programs for the kids. That's the one time you can say what you need to say.
Right on. So Elon, I definitely do want to play the clip, and I do hope we get to it. And thank you for the shout out for the Marisa Baradaran interview I did the other day. It was a good discussion about her new book, The Quiet Coup. I was dared to watch this. I have not. The 2-hour conversation with Brianna Joy Gray and Michael Eric Dyson defending Kamala. I'm actually sure she did a good job of challenging him on that, and I'm sure he did a good job of verbal whirlwinding his way into some sort of twisted explanation. Yeah, Marisa was cussing in the interview. Marisa, this is new Marisa. Marisa got the rejected by government and not fully left. She still got some ways to go to get where we are, but she took another step in the left direction, if I could say. A little critical. She was a little bit fired up, which is funny.
Yeah, I like it. Right.
Yeah, nah, she's not gonna be no communist, but it was interesting to try to assess her. I can't think of the word, inexpertly assess her, but that was my assumption that experience of being vetted for that government position and then seeing what it really was and what's really not happening. She was like, nah, okay, let me get on Jared's show and start cussing.
Yo, Rod Sai, I like it. Ear Doctor School of Medicine and Home Medicines.
Music and home medicines.
Home medicines. We could take the medicines away, but is it wrong for me to do a school of music and teaching manhood? We can't teach manhood nowadays. Is that against the
I think the question of the day would be, how are you teaching manhood? Or how are you defining manhood?
Oh, now you gotta.
That would be what I think the question. Now
you got to sit in front of a judge of people to figure out how to.
I don't know,
define
man.
Manhood. I'm lost.
Erica, what's up, Erica? Thank you for the full run sheet. Yes. And are we allowed to share anything, Erica? Am I allowed to say anything, Erica?
Uh-oh.
Erica's work is dope, y'all. I can't wait for people to realize that. And the number one reason why I can't wait for them to realize that is that I want everybody, when they do realize that, the first thing I want you all to do is say, Jared was right. So yeah, okay. So future Dr. Brown successfully defended her dissertation proposal and is moving on to the next level. And so that was another bit of my sort of real faculty work that I got to do this week, sitting on that committee, having brief chats with the committee about future Dr. Brown's work. And I do feel, honestly, I do feel a little bit like a proud older brother. I'm not going to front. I don't mean to disrespect Erica or anybody, familial relations or how she might feel about it, but I'm not going to front. I do feel a little bit. And the work is very good. And proud. I don't mean to be condescending by saying it that way, but I am proud of what she's doing.
Fellow people's right there, man. Supposed to.
And I'm learning, and I'm also getting to learn, which is even the better part for me.
But I'm calling cap on Erica. It's like 5:30 over there in Texas. You on the treadmill?
I believe that, though. I actually believe that.
Stop playing.
I kind of believe that would be how she do it. Yeah.
You know, because Kamal called it thick.
But it's also because she's focused and organized.
Oh, okay. That's what it is.
So that's how I would have put it. Not the whole, she got Kamal's picture on the other side with a target on it.
So you think.
Like, I show you thick. Okay. All right. Hey, man, I do want to play this clip, man. So are we going to take a break?
Yeah, let's do a little break, and then we're going to come back and hit y'all on the head with this clip and sit around here and talk about it right here on no other than the Remix Morning Show. Let's go. Hard times is coming to your town. Big up, everybody. Come on and get down and hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Go to patreon.com, become a member over there, get footage that's rare. And also go to our website, blkliberationmedia.org. We appreciate a donation there, and that will help keep this train moving like it was the Black Liberation Station. Train keeps on moving. Sounded so good. All right, let me go ahead and talk to you about a certain show I was watching the other day, and I don't know if you watched it, but I think you should, and it is the LSR show, and they was talking to Dr. Horn, and they had some pretty good questions. Let's check out one of the questions they had.
So is this the basis for the religious tolerance that is foundational to the United States, this fact that you needed every warm body and whiteness and white supremacy become the sort of organizing logic such that religious difference needs to be subsumed?
Well, clearly. I mean, you mentioned my book on the 16th century, and part of the premise there is that His Catholic Majesty on the Iberian Peninsula had the first mover's advantage when it came to looting and plundering the Americas. And so therefore, His Catholic Majesty set up a privilege for those who were of the one true faith, that is to say, Catholicism. As you know from the history of Cuba, you could be a conquistador, an African, if you were Catholic. But then erupts 1517, the secession from the one true faith led by Martin Luther, not Martin Luther King. And
not the king.
That's right. Go check that out. LSR. But you know who it is, Dr. CBS and Dr. Layla Brown. So go make sure y'all check that episode out. Just came out the other day. Right here on Black Liberation Media, y'all. We got y'all. Come on, stop playing. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and get back to the Remix Morning crew. You know how we do. Yeah.
Very dope. Absolutely, very dope.
Having some dope shows on this channel, man. I don't know.
Who knew?
Who knew? Shit. All right. So let's see what we got going on. So you pulled up the
oh yeah, I mean I'm ready. So a lot of people probably have seen this, but I like this new channel I've come across. This I'm not entirely sure where he is or from, but it really doesn't matter. But the decision by the United States to again be the one vote holding up a ceasefire in Palestine, and so we get to see it, and then we get to hear the Palestinian representative's response, which I thought that's the longest portion of this, which I thought was just fire. But I thought it's just good to sometimes be reminded how this world is set up. And yeah, but go ahead. Yeah.
So as a producer, can I ask that if she hits certain points that you can pause it and talk about it instead of just going straight 15 minutes through? If
I mean, I can try. That'll only make it longer, and it messes up the flow. And there's nothing I could. But we could play it for a few minutes, and then we can reassess.
Okay.
But I do love this channel. I think someone else noted it too. So if you get a chance, sign up for this Janta Ka Reporter channel. Doing really, really good work. And this clip here was fire, so we could just check it out a little bit.
Wait a minute, we got somebody coming in here, coming in hot. Come on, okay, Franklin.
Oh wow.
Hold on.
Well, let me stop sharing the screen if we got.
True, and it should be my screen. That's true.
I mean,
true
you know what I mean. Let's.
Congratulations, Erica. Right? She got her PhD. I felt like a proud.
No. She didn't finish. She made it through the next step. So she had, you have to submit your proposal, have that vetted and approved before you can go off and conduct your research and do it.
Wait. I thought she did the whole. She was in front of the what is it when you do the defense? The
defense. No, this was not her dissertation defense. This was the defense. It was really the defense of her proposal.
Oh,
so it's
okay.
Yeah, she been.
I think it's not an unbig deal, and I think it's because you're not guaranteed to always make it through that step. You got
a paper that says anything.
Yeah, she had the proposal was at least 15.
No. I mean, they give her she got like a certificate, says she's not.
No, I think they do sign off something that says you made it through, and then to that stage, and now she's been approved to go conduct the research.
Yeah,
and
she getting more money now or something.
Yeah, I'm saying anything.
I guess that's what he did. That's what doctors.
Well, I think that whatever I don't know what her arrangement is with the program, but you do have to pass. If I remember correctly, I remember the way we had to do it. You have to pass this if you want whatever funding you're getting to continue. Gotta. So I don't know exactly her situation.
The degree brings in more money. I got something like
no, not exactly. So you're given X amount of time and X amount of dollars to do X amount of work, and if you don't hit certain benchmarks, it all runs out. So or in my case, they just take it from you.
So is getting a doctor is more about an ego thing, or is it?
For Erica, apparently it is. I don't know.
Oh wow. So I think all jokes aside, I think the process is not always fully appreciated by the broader world. It's just one of those things that if you don't know how it goes, you might not fully appreciate it. It's a little more in depth than that. It is something that in most cases you go through something to earn it. So I don't know if it's about the ego, but I think when you complete it, there should be some kind of ego boost having gone through something like that.
All jokes aside, most of them. It is, I think, aside a medical doctor, I feel like it's the toughest higher degree to get. Like, I think law school is all overrated, to be honest with you.
So that's interesting. Watching my wife go through law school, I think it depends. So I think it depends on the PhD, depends on the program. So I thought my PhD was crazy easy. After 2 years at Africana, I thought what I was being asked to do intellectually at the PhD level was I mean, I breezed through it and was like, I was kind of arrogant about it. I was like, finish this already. I'm good. I'm like, let's wrap this up. I got this. But I've seen but there's others. I think even the one future Dr. Brown is in is a little more complicated. And so I think it sometimes depends. Yeah, I hate.
Don't hate Jared. Jared's a good man.
No. We know who the him is in that scenario.
Wow.
Yeah.
So early.
I know the hate so early. The hate that hate.
Well, you have her at the gym. So you already said that. You got her running at the gym this morning.
I'm trying to help her out.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I won't even mention I was almost going to mention.
Don't do it. Hold on, Brooklyn.
This is me saying don't to you.
Yeah, right. That's wild. No, that's it. That's Rick James telling you to put the crack pipe down. You're like that's what that is. That's when Rick is telling you to put the straw down, like, son.
Come on, man. We've been down this road already. Oh man.
Oh, lessons learned. Lessons learned. True.
I thought adding doctor to my name would make me make more money. I mean, I've been working all my life to get this doctor, ear doctor at the end of my name.
Really?
So,
Yeah.
Okay.
How could you make yourself a big time, well-paid DJ? I'm not saying you're not paid. Okay. Yeah. Like what is the missing element in terms of, is it that you got to know somebody, you got to know somebody, right place? Yeah, that kind
know
of
somebody,
thing.
Probably get a manager that's connected. So yeah, it's all about relationships and knowing different people. Being lucky, I guess.
But you're also a producer of beats, right? Like you make beats for people. You sell
Nah.
You don't do that? Oh, why you don't do that? You make some good music.
I'm not a beat maker. I came up as an MC. I had people that produced around me and made beats, so I never got into making beats. You know what I'm saying? I spit that fire like Dylan.
True that. True.
I heard from a Mama's Biscuits affiliate yesterday, who is currently a beat maker.
Oh.
And he sent me one of his IG, showing off the beats that he's got. And I heard one and I said, let me get that. How much for that? And he said, nah, I'm saving that for something. And I said, so what you send it to me for? Like, how you going to send this to me and I can't get it? Like, what is this? All right, congratulations.
Sounds great.
Yeah, Mama's Biscuits affiliate. Like, he wasn't in the band, but he was a cousin. He was a cousin. He was hanging around. He was,
like the fifth Beto and shit.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? he was always in the back of the pic, back of the the last man on the end of the picture. You know what I mean? He was around.
Oh man, they got so
I like that. Papa's Pancakes.
Wow.
I like that.
That would have been a nice alter ego band. Y'all could have did grunge or something.
When y'all make the comeback, it'd be Papa's Pancakes. I like that.
Pancakes.
That's shame on everybody. This is disrespectful. Killer Priest status. That's funny. That's funny. Okay, all right, I like that. Yeah, he was the Killer Priest of our Wu-Tang.
He had a nice album, but Wu-Tang never calls him up and be like, "Yo, come on tour with us."
Having a reunion.
That's why he was like, "You can't get this beat." He's like, "I remember that shit."
Like the Killer Army.
I said, let me get that beat. Nah, man.
So I guess we was about to watch a video.
Yeah, man. And Kamal could comment on this. I mean, I'm sure he's got more to say about it than I would. But
we give him enough time to ramble, or do you ready to work?
Damn no. I mean, I came on late, so I'm ready to work. I'm ready to work.
There we go.
All right. Well,
that means I can take a break. All right.
Oh wow. So this happened yesterday or right around yesterday at the UN Security Council. So let's take a look at as much of this as you all are willing.
Those against?
The vote for the ceasefire. Look at this man. Who is this man? Robert Wood.
The result of the voting is as follows. 14 votes in favor, 1 vote against, 0 abstentions. The draft resolution has not been adopted owing to the negative vote of a permanent member of the Council.
The United States deeply regrets this Council finds itself here again. The United States worked for weeks in good faith to avoid this outcome. We made clear throughout negotiations we could not support an unconditional ceasefire that failed to release the hostages.
What does it mean? That the release of the hostages should be unconditional. This is what the Council has said repeatedly now for a year. Release of hostages should be unconditional.
And just quickly, this will become the rest of the video. The Palestinians representative's response is the rest of the video. But they showed us Robert Wood, and who knows what happened to him in his life that led him to that position. Representing the United States, saying being the only one with the power to block the resolution, saying there will be no ceasefire, and that's Biden's administration. That would have been Kamala's administration. All right.
And it's his fifth. It's the United States' 5th time blocking the UN resolution calling for a ceasefire.
and with the premise that the Palestinians have not released the hostages. That's what they keep saying is at least one of the major linchpins preventing them from. So that's where this gentleman starts his response. And then, as I said, we can stop it, or whenever you all want, just let me know.
But stopping killing Palestinians is conditional. There are acceptable conditions to stop the mass killing of Palestinians. There's 100 Israeli hostages, and there's 2 million Palestinians in Gaza. 2 million Palestinians in Gaza. They deserve better. They deserve respect for their lives, for their suffering. Israel will always claim conditions have not been met because its plans require it to continue this war, to annex the land and destroy the people. And therefore, we can no longer accept its conditions. 14 months, and we are still debating if a genocide must be stopped. There's no justification whatsoever for vetoing a resolution trying to stop atrocities. No justification for that. Madam President, one day someone will dig up these meetings, the records of them, will see us pleading for the lives of our people over and over and over and over again. And they will try to understand why our calls were not heeded. They will look at the people who sat around the table and spoke and addressed you from all over the world to call on the council to take action. They will read what everybody here has said. And then they will wonder how a genocide displayed on TVs known to the whole world was able to continue.
I now give the floor to the representative of the Observer State of Palestine.
My fault, I forgot they went back to this. Yeah, she goes back.
Thank you, Madam President. There is no right to mass killing of civilians. There is no right to starve an entire civilian population. There is no right to forcibly displace a people. And there is no right to annexation. This is what Israel is doing in Gaza. These are its war objectives. This is what the absence of a ceasefire is allowing it to continue doing. This full-fledged Israeli assault against the Palestinian people and the Palestinian land is about everything except the hostages. If the families of hostages can see that, how can anyone in this room claim otherwise? A ceasefire will allow to save lives, all lives. This was true a year ago. This is even more true today. A ceasefire doesn't resolve everything, but it is the first step towards resolving anything. And what is the answer of those who are still unwilling now, after all this death and destruction, not to call for an unconditional ceasefire? Is it to accept that the killing should continue until we resolve everything while we watch that we are resolving nothing? We heard over and over again statements in this chamber by all members without distinction about protection of civilians, about rejecting forcible displacement, about rejecting starving the Palestinian population, about rejecting annexation, about rejecting wanton destruction, about rejecting regional escalation. Everyone around this table agreed on these objectives. And yet here we are. 44,000 Palestinians killed. This is those who are accounted for. Many more are not accounted for. One day we will retrieve them in mass graves under the rubbles, and we will discover the real numbers of this horror. And there will be many that we will never retrieve. Famine that is looming all over Gaza, that is a reality in northern Gaza. 2 million people displaced, still hunted even when they are in tents. Total destruction of Gaza and all the requirements of life in it. And war on Lebanon, its people and its sovereignty. What does it mean to proclaim all these principles, we reject, we reject, we reject, and then shield Israel of the consequences of its actions, thus allowing it to do exactly what we're asking it to stop doing? Madam President, the world should not grow accustomed to the death of Palestinians, to seeing Palestinian children starving. to seeing mothers carrying their children from one place to another, forcibly displaced. They should not get accustomed to seeing journalists killed and humanitarians killed, to see Palestinians detained, abducted, carried on trucks to go be tortured, sexually abused, and raped. The fact we are Palestinians does not make that less shocking or less outrageous. Maybe for some we have the wrong nationality, the wrong faith, the wrong skin color. But we are humans, and we should be treated as such. Is there a UN charter for Israel that is different from the charter you all have? Tell us. Is there an international law for them, an international law for us? Do they have the right to kill, and the only right we have is to die? What the hell does Israel need to do more for this council to act under Chapter 7? What more can they do for this council to act under Chapter 7? Or will this council be the last place on earth that cannot recognize a threat to peace when they see it? When it is so glaring, so undeniable? You are witnessing the attempt to annihilate a nation, destroy a nation. It is not even hidden, it is in plain sight. And yet the very tools designed to respond to these situations are not being used. So which one is it? Are Palestinian lives not worth saving? Or does Israel have a license to kill? Can this council only adopt resolutions and then witness their blatant breach? This self-inflicted powerlessness has to stop. And like Algeria, we repeat, the resolutions of this council are binding. Their role is to be enforced. Their role is to change reality, not to record violations for history's purposes and then allow them to continue. Had diplomatic efforts succeeded, we would not be here. We recognize all the efforts that were done, all the diplomatic efforts that were conducted. And yet, we have to recognize children are still starving in Gaza. Families are being killed. Communities are being obliterated. Had these efforts succeeded, we would not be here. But what we cannot accept is that Israel has a veto that blocks any attempts to put an end to this war, especially when we know what are its true intentions. Madam President, many peoples, many governments around the world are saying the right things and trying to do the right things. And we have here to express our gratitude to the E10 for their relentless efforts for over a year now. And in the recent month, we all were hoping that 2735 would lead to a ceasefire. And we can discuss who is responsible for that ceasefire not occurring. For us, it is pretty clear that Israel had never an intention to accept a ceasefire and has found every reason not to have a ceasefire. We thank Guyana for its efforts in coordinating the E10 initiative. We thank all of those who have voted in favor of this resolution. And we agree with Malta and with Algeria. This is the bare minimum. This is the bare minimum that morality, humanity, legality would plead for. And this bare minimum, even this bare minimum, was vetoed. I truly do not understand, and you're saying we cannot be for an unconditional ceasefire. What that means in effect now is that we are for a war. You're saying we cannot be for an unconditional ceasefire that does not release the hostages. Is this war releasing the hostages? Is it even trying to release the hostages? So what does it mean? We accept this war that is killing hostages and that is killing, maiming, terrorizing, destroying an entire nation. When is it enough? When is it the point where we say, no, we mean ceasefire now? Now. We will not allow you to not listen to us, to ignore us, to insult us, to play games with us. This resolution is trying to restore life, to save lives. It's not a dangerous message. The draft resolution is not a dangerous message. This veto is a dangerous message to Israel that it can continue executing its plans, the very plans you oppose. And the messages we send do matter. And that is the wrong message at the worst possible time. Israel is responsible for the Palestinian civilians it kills. It cannot be absolved of that responsibility. It is killing them purposefully, deliberately, repeatedly, massively. It is starving them on purpose. Nobody can deny it. We sat in this room, we heard every UN agency, every testimony, every NGO, Palestinian, Israeli, international, saying the same things. This is by design.
They quiet as church mouses.
What does it mean? That release of the hostages should be unconditional? This is what the Council has said repeatedly now for a year. Release of hostages should be unconditional. But stopping killing Palestinians is conditional?
I think it's a
Are acceptable conditions.
Kim Brown.
Morning.
Good morning. Who was that speaking? I'm assuming whoever it was addressing the UN Security Council because they failed again at humanity. Well, I guess U.S. failed. I'm sorry. More specifically, the U.S. representative to the Security Council failed again at humanity. That was at the Palestinian.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, that's a hard job. I mean, just have to sit there. I know diplomacy is extremely important in terms of any type of interactions between nation states or large groups, and it's got to be people who can do it. So being a statesperson is an extremely important job, but it's got to be hard as hell because you're basically talking to people who are murdering, members of your family right there on the spot,
with a smirk.
Giving justifications for it over and over again. And they know, and every word you say, you already know they know because they're doing it. They know exactly what they're doing, and everybody's just sitting around twiddling their thumbs, like, "Oh, this is normal. This is okay." But at the same time, they're giving weapons to Ukraine to fire into Russia, so the Ukrainians have a right to defend themselves. Everybody has a right to defend themselves. Everybody gets weapons, except for the Palestinian people in this situation who are already suffering. I think one of the most important things he said was like, there's 2 million people who are already basically imprisoned, were already held hostage. And the international community did nothing, said nothing, allowed it to happen. And when those people strike back, oh my God, how dare they? How dare they attack the people oppressing them and stealing their land? That's ridiculous.
But I appreciate the pointing out of the hypocrisy from the Israelis that, we got to have the hostages, this message that's been repeated by every American politician here. Oh, the unconditional release of the hostages. Y'all don't give a fuck about the hostages. If you cared about the hostages, you would make sure that humanitarian aid went into Gaza to make sure that your hostages also aren't starving, also aren't suffering without the availability of medication. If you cared about the hostages, you would be at the negotiating table. You would not be encumbering progress of the negotiations by ultimately, what does Israel do? They ask for something completely untenable as negotiations go onward and seem to be progressing some, and all of a sudden they'll come fuck it up with intention, obviously. So the hostages, these niggas don't give a fuck about the hostages.
And your crew at Mondo Weiss put this post up the other day, further exposing the lie that Israel has the, quote, right to self-defense, that legally that has been, according to international laws, an occupying power. Israel cannot claim self-defense to wage war on occupied territories like Gaza, the West Bank, East Jerusalem, and Golan Heights. The UN Charter prohibits the use of force against other states except in self-defense from external attacks. In 2004 and again in 2024, the World Court affirmed that Israel's occupation of Palestinian territories is illegal. Therefore, Israel cannot claim self-defense to justify its military attacks. Every Israeli airstrike, missile, or soldier in Gaza is illegal. Israel's real legal obligation is to end the occupation, dismantle the settlements, withdraw from Palestinian territories. International law does recognize self-defense for Palestinians. Occupied people have the right to armed self-defense to achieve liberation and self-determination. The UN explicitly recognizes Palestinians' right to resist occupation even through armed struggle within humanitarian law. Israel's actions bombing civilians, targeting hospitals, collective punishments are war crimes. None of these acts are protected under self-defense. For 76 plus years, Israel has committed ethnic cleansing, apartheid, and settler colonial violence against Palestinians. When Palestinians fight back, the West denies their legal right to resist. But every peaceful effort, protest, diplomacy, boycotts is also repressed. So what's left? The truth is clear. The right to self-defense belongs to the oppressed, not the oppressor. End the occupation. Free Palestine. So...
I mean,
right
but
on.
what do you do when you live in the upside down and international law doesn't mean anything, or it doesn't apply, or people don't adhere to it, or people just pretend it's not? So what? That's cute. They have some laws over there that don't apply to us over here. We can still do what the fuck we want. I mean, it's giant settler colonial energy. All I hear is the U.S. government breaking treaty after treaty with sovereign indigenous nations here on this continent over and over and over again, and maiming them and massacring them and genociding them. Like it's the exact same playbook, except make it 2024, make it 2023.
That's how I always explain it to people. Like when I started to gain some understanding of what was happening over there, my immediately go-to point was, it's like, look, so it's a repeat of the slaughter of indigenous people here in this land, right? What was called Turtle Island, what became America. There's no difference whatsoever, right? And also in all these, let's name the place where the indigenous people used to live before we started meeting, kind of bullshit that liberals like to do. And I'm not a fan of it, because it's the same people who don't lift a finger, a lot of them. Like I went to some conference that I was invited to a few months ago, maybe like 8 months ago, and part of it was around learning how to get government grants. And then they had people from the Biden administration, and the first thing that they did was the land sovereignty announcement. It was like, what the hell is this? What are you, it's like, this makes no sense whatsoever. There's an active genocide going on that you can't mention, because that would get the Biden administration upset. That would get the politicians that you invited here upset. But you want to honor the people who were killed 400 years ago by naming the place that we are all now living on, and they've all been slaughtered on. And somehow you think you're doing that something good is coming out of that or whatever. So that, those land acknowledgement things, a lot of times it's like, why all the performative stuff when the Mondewe's piece was perfect. Palestine has a right to resist by any means necessary. And what else is like you said, what else is left for them to do? What else is left for any oppressed people to do when the laws don't matter? Because right now it's the law of the gun. Right? It's the law of survival. That's really what's at stake. It's either be oppressed or fight. And some people aren't willing to be oppressed or stay oppressed or not allow their oppressors to take more land. So the only thing I would maybe quibble with in what Mondewe said is, of course, I know what international law says, but even that international law is limited, because Israel not only doesn't have a right to self-defense, it doesn't have the right to exist on Palestinian land. That's all Palestinian land, and the Palestinians never voted. And the United Nations at the time that did vote did not include any of the sovereign nations that are around today, because they too were being oppressed and colonized by the Western world order, who decided to give someone else's land to a group of people that they were actually murdering. That's the ironic part also. Who were the European Israelis, European Jews escaping from? European Christians. That's who they wanted to get the fuck away from. Their fellow Europeans who were bombing on them in Europe. And the solution for the European Christians was, we'll just give them somebody else's land and we don't have to deal with them anymore. So that's the real history here.
And let's not forget, just to add one little bit to that, the violence that you alluded to that went with that. I mean, they didn't just come in there and take. I mean, they bombed and blew up Palestinian houses and families and religious sites and the whole Meir Kahane crew, that type of wherever you pronounce his name. They did a lot of dirt. Killed a lot of people to terroristically remove Palestinians from that land. And again, shout out to Musa and their crew who put me onto that Farha film on Netflix. If you want a cinematic depiction of what was really going on.
And real quick, the first act of so-called terrorism in that part of the world was again done by the so-called Israelis against the British.
Right,
by blowing up a nightclub.
That's right.
Right. That and because they felt the British weren't moving fast enough or weren't allowing them to take the land. So, you know, it's one thing for those who are oppressed and one thing for those who are the oppressors and or closely connected to the oppressors. And again, it just shows how without some humanity, everybody can possibly make any allegation or statement they want to justify their actions of murdering a mass amount of people. Because you have folks who are literally using the fact that they were once oppressed and or oppressed and suffered through a Holocaust as an excuse and saying no, you know, never again, as an excuse for wiping out an entire other people.
What was the reason they went to Amsterdam and acted like dickheads? What was that? They thought. What did Netanyahu say? He said it was another pogrom happening in Amsterdam. I said, nigga, you need to shut the fuck up.
First of all, your people started it over there.
Your niggas came to town rowdy, starting shit, vandalism, attacking citizens, attacking residents of Amsterdam, and then go cry victim. Oh, it was
I met a couple Africans over there that wouldn't be that might have had a couple. I feel like I might have met a couple people that might have ran through some of that resistance. Like I met a couple people over there that was like, yeah, nah, yeah, let's
not here.
Not whatever the words would be, that's what was being said.
let it have been Africans traveling from abroad to Amsterdam, to any city in Europe. Let it have been Black Americans coming from America to go to Amsterdam and start fucking shit up and start punching Amsterdam citizens in the face. Do you understand the kind of ban that would have existed on Black people from traveling to Europe ever again? Like just the amount of cover, the public relations cover that was given to these racist Israelis, these marauding goons running through town causing havoc. The grace would have never been given to Black folks, to continental Africans or diasporatic Africans. Never.
The amount of arrest, beat downs, charges, sanctions against whatever country, particularly was in folks from the continental Africa, sanctions, threats of invasion, all that would have happened. All that would have happened.
They brought Obama out to chastise.
Exactly.
That's exactly what would happen. But speaking of, a few minutes ago, what I was going to say is, speaking of our humanity, let's bring the humanity of the Remix Morning Show back up here.
The humanitarian, you know it. Veterinarian, vegetarian, humanitarian. Let's go. Hey, we used to
Air Doctor, why were you calling me? You understand my goofy ass. You called me. I'm assuming you was on the air because you're a jerk.
Was. He was snitching.
Oh my gosh. And I said, my phone is ringing. Let me hop out the shower and try to answer the phone. And Jesus told me to stay in the shower. Don't get that goddamn phone. That is nothing but the Air Doctor trying to cause foolery.
Exactly.
Doing it live too. Call him out live.
First of all, when you cross 50, I know, Kim, you're not anywhere near this, but when you cross 50, bathroom rules need to be established. when you're in the bathroom, that's what you're there to do. Focus up. It's a dangerous place. You got to survive the shower in the bathroom. You got to make it back. They ain't no jumping out of nothing to answer nothing. Shut it all down. Handle what you got to handle, and then safely exit and resume your life.
One leg at a time. But you got to sit down and get that leg out.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
no slipping.
Move slow.
Derek, I feel like you're about to retire and become the crossing guard up at the high school.
I'm trying to
focus. Derek.
They need one. I would maybe do that. I might do that. They need one. They need somebody out there. It's a dangerous place.
then that back gonna kick and you be like, you know what?
I have a seat. I'll be out there in my little seat,
I know,
my little wheelchair. I got the wheelchair in the garage. I'll be out there like, nah. Slow down. Now go ahead.
I got the seat now.
Yeah.
Back when we did Renegade Culture, we used to have a segment called What the F. Now, before we get into this mental health break, I want to get into what the hell. I seen something and I was just like, yo, this is crazy right here. Check this out.
Metro Atlanta woman will be spending the rest of her life in prison after being found guilty of killing her 2 sons. You might remember this story. Lamora Williams was sentenced late last week to life without parole plus 35 years. Williams was accused of putting her 1- and 2-year-old sons in a hot oven back in 2017. Authorities say the crimes happened over a span of nearly 2 days. Williams' 3-year-old son was inside the home when it happened, but he was not harmed.
And then took a picture of it and sent it to the baby daddy. All right, we're going to take a mental health break after that, right?
Well, what we can be assured of is that Tyler Perry is going to turn that into a movie soon, very soon. That's going to be the next Tyler Perry film.
I'm going to assume that's not the actions of a mentally well person. Okay, that's not what people who have good mental health do.
Crazy.
So
that's
you
wild.
know,
Yeah.
No,
right.
there's a lot of that. There was these little girls up here that just got convicted of murder, 12 and 13. They beat this old man to death up here in DC. Beat him to death.
And that is why we need a mental health break right here on the Remix.
I know, but Doctor, why?
Yeah, you made it worse.
You made us unhealthy.
That's why we're taking one now. Mental health break right here on the Remix Morning Show. Remix on the remix, y'all. Hey, let me take you to a time and place. Let me take you back to 1989 with De La Soul off that album 3 Feet High and Rising. And they had Jungle Brothers and Q-Tip on there. The name of that song is Buddy. Mixed with a little bit of 1994, we talking about Janae. Name of that album was pronounced Janae. Name of that song is Hey Mr. DJ. Alright, big up to them 2 sisters. Big up to De La Soul. If you ain't catch their new video, Oodles are O's, you know, man, go check that out. It's real dope. And we get to see Dave at the end talking about it. Anyway, back to it. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Go to patreon.com. Become a member over there and get footage that's rare. And also go to the bottom of the page, as you can see, where you can donate to blkliberationmedia.org. It would be very much appreciated for your support, since we are demonetized and not able to get them funds and keep this shit moving. All right, with that said, let's get back to the Remix Morning Crew, because you know how we do. All right.
Everybody move your body. Now do it.
Yeah.
Shout out to KG. KG don't get he's underrated in my opinion, not given his proper props as a rap and R&B producer.
Yeah, big up to KG, Jersey finest. You know what I'm saying? saying.
You be getting on my nerves sometimes.
Yeah, shout out to De La releasing the video 35 years after the song originally dropped. I did see that. Loved it.
Yeah.
Miss Dave.
For what?
Oodles and
oodles and oodles.
Oh.
Yo, check that video. You might shed a tear at the end of the video.
Oh,
man.
wow.
It's a little sad. It is. And then it also, the other part of it is for me, and I'm sure some others of us, it connects to a lot of memories that involve people who aren't here anymore. That's the other thing. Like, I have a one of those what do you call them? Quintessential memories of being introduced to the vinyl of Jungle Brothers, the Jungle Brothers, of that song, in fact, with a couple brothers, one of whom is not here anymore. And so Dave included, rest in peace to all of them. So it's Did
I talked about Sophia the other day, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
I think I did.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, big up to Sophia too.
Yesterday.
Man, in the 50s, everybody in the 50s. This shit is crazy, yo.
It's
natural causes deaths, right? Not to mention the death
other
by
stuff.
violence, right?
It's that American diet, man. For a lot of people, that American diet is killing us. Like, you go to other places, other countries, they be like, "There's no way we eat that. That shit is banned." But here,
facts, though, that is
That's
correct.
true.
So,
Another reason for us to burn this shit down. Like, they insist on feeding us poison, right? Like all kinds of carcinogens in everything, not just the meat, right? I mean, what's the latest recall for the carrots? Right, there's a big
that's
recall
right.
out for carrots.
We just threw ours out yesterday.
Right,
Damn,
and it ain't the carrots that you get at name me a lower, at the Compare Mart or at the Shoppers. No, they recalling carrots from the Wegmans, from Whole Foods, from all your little fancy places. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, them baby carrots. Like, what is a baby carrot? But yeah, it's crazy out here, man. Every time I look at a label, which I usually read everything before I eat it, but everything is bioengineered. Why is that so crazy to you, Cabal?
I don't believe you read anything. The labels.
That's wild.
Why don't you believe that? Of all things, that's the thing. I'm most likely that he's standing there.
I don't know. Can he read those words?
But he's buying foods that don't have all these multisyllabic words in it. I would be my guess.
I was just messing with them.
I need to be able to read everything that's on the ingredients and be like, oh, I know what that is. And it's hard. It's very hard to do that. It's like seeing ingredients where it's big letters and you can see every avocado oil. And there's so many different oils. Avocado is like the cleanest oil you can use. Next time you get something to eat, look and see how many different oils is in your food. You're going to have sunflower. You're going to have vegetable oil. You're going to have so many different and gums. It's ridiculous. We're slaves to food. We're addicts to these drugs that they put in these food. But we don't talk about that. But when I talk about it, I'm crazy.
But I don't think we're addicts. I think it's what's available.
See, there you go.
What?
See, right there. You are an addict. You can't even admit it.
Shut up, nigga.
Oh, damn.
Tell me something you wouldn't mind not eating no more, but you like chicken. Exactly.
I mean, but I like chicken. I don't. What is chicken? Why do you bring chicken into this?
Chicken
what did chicken
unhealthy?
have to do? What
is it healthy?
On his face?
Leave chicken out of this?
Is it healthy?
Is it really that many chicken wings in this world that are allowed to, be sold?
My wife won't
cents?
eat chicken wings. She made wings for a party recently out of pure disgust and or out of love, but with pure disgust. So she's and she doesn't eat chicken with skin on it either. Like she doesn't have a
history. The skin was supposed to be healthy part of chicken. No,
it can't be when it's
Western
fried.
doctors?
I'm sure it can't be. I'm sure it can't. I mean, my assumption is just about anything fried is going to be unhealthy.
Bad, yeah.
But
define unhealthy again. What y'all just
high in fat, high in cholesterol.
I don't eat no ham and eggs
because
they're high in cholesterol.
Clogs your arteries and stuff like that.
Yes, but these are things that happen to old people. I don't. What are you saying? I'm young, fresh and fit out here. What we saying? What you saying? I'm just playing.
I'm about to say, boy, it sounded like one of the people that's in denial right there.
Well, listen, I like denial. Denial is a lovely place. It has rivers and valleys, and I love denial. Denial is beautiful.
I look at it like this. we can't control politics. We talk about that all day, but we can't control what we put in our body, and we don't talk about that. Like certain things you can control, certain things you can't.
But I disagree, actually. I mean,
Go ahead. How? Why?
Because you have to eat what's available. So I don't, to me, that doesn't sound like control.
You have
right?
to eat what's available?
If you can only access foods that are at your local
we're talking about us
store,
though. You ain't broke.
You first of all,
you talk about the bourgeoisie.
I mean, I get it. Some people can't afford. They got to eat ramen noodles. But for those that
is ramen noodles bad for you too?
Wow,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they say ramen is very bad for you. Actually. Well, especially that shit that y'all like to eat. That shit in the package.
Yeah,
that's like 10 for $1.
So what is a staple diet? What's a staple food that if you're going to be healthy, give me the 2 or 3 top foods, doctor, that you recommend.
Vegetables and fruits. Really, because I mean, you deal with starches is good, but it's a lot of sugar. So when you talk about pastas, your rice,
lots of sugar and fruit too, my brother.
Yeah, but it's a different type. You know what I'm saying?
Your body doesn't process it as a different type. Your body processes all sugar as sugar. So, right, even the sugars that are naturally forming in the fruits, your body will still process it as sugar, as it would.
And then you got to look at additives and stuff like that. So a lot of stuff can be decent, but the additives they put in this stuff is to make the consumer become addicted to it. At the same time, to cut costs so they can get more out of there. So what do I know? I just play music for a living.
All right, I mean, you're not wrong. I don't hear wrongness. I don't know. I just feel as though I don't think the choices for everybody are as
stark or cut and dry.
Right. Yeah. I don't think everybody kind of has those choices that you're talking about.
I would just say read, just like you read your political books and figure out what is right and what is wrong and what's good for you and what's not. Just read the ingredients.
I like when he talks down to us. That's why I keep him going. Like he talks down.
There's one.
He likes to talk down to us. Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. Y'all taller than me. Well, not you.
There's one caveat to that I've been recently encouraged to reconsider. That in general, they say you shouldn't eat things that have more than 3 ingredients. That's one of the staples that people have tried to push. But the flip side of that, and I saw a very compelling scientifically based argument, but I just don't know. It was just compelling to me. I don't know if it's accurate. That was arguing about being cautious about condemning everything that's bioengineered. That in his argument was that even the things you think are healthy are still chemicals. The natural environment are chemicals. So the idea that engineering one chemical with another is automatically unhealthy is not apparently necessarily the case. That you can bioengineer things that are actually good for you. So I don't know. What I've found with my own dietary struggles is that it can get kind of complicated based on your own gut biome, your own dietary history. Foods that could be healthy for one person are not necessarily going to be all these different things. So, like I'm going through I don't mean to overshare, but I've been going through like a struggle trying to figure out how to get my gut biome together. And eating unprocessed vegan diets is not automatically a guarantee. You still got to find certain balances. You got to find, I'm learning, I don't know if this is accurate. This lectin argument might be messing up people's guts and causing problems. So, that which comes in everything from wheat to almonds to beans. So like there's even healthy whole foods that could be to some people damaging. So it's just very complicated. That's why, and then on top of it, I don't believe we have free choice as human beings. We're living in this highly hostile environment. It's very difficult to assess exactly what to do for each individual person. I just try to keep it down. My goal is to try to stay under 2,000 calories a day. That's the struggle that I and really I'd like to be down to about 1,500. But it's difficult.
It's crazy how defensive people get too about eating and the diet and stuff, when you just tell them this is how you eat, and then they just started getting defensive. But I'll be like, I'm just telling you how I eat. Like when I had to go to holidays and over people's houses and stuff like that and stuff, I'm just like, yo, I don't eat that. Okay, let me just eat this. I'm good. But then they get defensive, get mad. Oh, you ain't gonna eat. You think you, yo, I'm so used to it. It's ridiculous right now. So I just try to keep it on the low. But,
I know you. I feel like you're being oppressed yourself. You're like,
I am.
Yeah. No, I know you. I know you think so.
I am because people get mad defensive about what I eat. That don't make you shit, my G. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, have
just
a rest.
show the people, show them how good you look. Be like, you see this face? You see this?
Did get to see Moss Ross.
Physique? You know what I mean? Like,
indeed.
Look at the results. Who can argue with the results, ear doctor?
Yeah, but I look better than him, and I eat crap. So.
Only thing about you, come out, your head is narrower than I thought it was.
Oh wow!
It's just narrower in real life than it comes across on television. On the screen, you was fucking Billy D out this bitch.
But in person, I am 10 notches down. Oh,
like that dude on Beetlejuice with the shrunk head.
I've never been so insulted.
It's
never been
narrower. You're not less cute. You're just
you know what that
narrower in person.
Does anybody remember David Aldridge, the sportscaster by any chance? This is who. Have you ever seen him in person? I don't know what he's like today. But this was because he on screen he comes across very thin head, skinny head. But when you see him in person, it's like it's like a stark. It would get really big and round quickly. So it was like wow, my dude, I had no idea you look so thin on camera, and then you see it's like yikes. Now this is good, this is some years ago, but that's the first thought I had when Kim started, And yo, I don't some fake me out.
But that is all. That is one of the reasons when my beard started growing, I grew it in because I always had. That is a true.
Look at that.
To add some girth to my face.
Girth.
Yeah. Dickhead.
Everything got more swole when Kamau hit the gym, except for that dome. He said, "Where is the Barry Bonds steroids? I need this head to get
bigger head. Where is it for a bigger head? B, you're right. You're right.
Oh man, but you know what? I'm not talking down to nobody. It's just this is how I do, and because a person that doesn't smoke or drink could come to me and be like, "You're the most non-healthiest." Might be right. Look at that.
The most non-healthiest?
Yeah, because they don't smoke, they don't drink, and they got a good point. I could be like, yo, you're not healthy.
Let me tell you something. People that don't smoke and drink, they're not gonna last long. Trust me. Like you've got to
tell them, Kim.
You've got to put the system through the rigors, okay? Like you can survive out here amidst,
Exactly. It's the same thing they used to say about cars. If you never get that thing up over 100, the engine's gonna fall apart. You got to push it. I'm with it. That's what I'm saying.
Push it to the limit.
All that time me eating chicken fried rice was to survive when the system falls down. I'm gonna be like a cockroach out this bitch. I can eat anything. Where your fruits and vegetables then, motherfucker? They're gonna be.
That's what you'll be saying to the last surviving vegan. Come out, gonna be like, "Where your shit now?
Where your shit now, motherfucker?" As I'm eating canned beans over you, like you dying now, ain't you, motherfucker? Ain't you dying?
You ain't never had no preservatives. You will never be out here.
How you gonna preserve yourself?
Eat this stale supermarket food.
You're not built for this. Your little vegan self.
All right, let me get out of here. I caused enough problems.
Come out. There was a story that Erica laced us with. I don't know if they got to it yesterday. Did you all discuss the return of Ben Crump?
No,
and the overlap of Ben Crump and Malcolm X.
No.
Disturbing. So the daughters of Malcolm X are suing the CIA, FBI, and NYPD over the civil rights leader's assassination. And when I first saw the headline, I'm not going to front. I got a little bit like, okay. Let's kick it off.
We had covered this. This is going back at least a year or two, right? Yeah. Well, we had covered when because remember there was a press conference and the daughters spoke, and I think Crump also spoke at the press conference.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Chad?
No, I think they've been. I think they've been threatening to do it, or maybe FBI, but now maybe they're adding in more people or more groups.
Okay. Well, let me hush.
Well, I mean, it may have, I don't know. I haven't read the whole story. In fact, because as I was going to say, as soon as I saw the second paragraph mention Ben Crump, I was like, oh, hell. But it says here, 3 daughters of Malcolm X have accused the CIA, FBI, New York Police Department, and others in a $100 million lawsuit Friday of playing roles in the 1965 assassination of the civil rights leader. In the lawsuit filed in Manhattan federal court, the daughters, along with the Malcolm X estate, claimed that the agencies were aware of and were involved in the assassination plot and failed to stop the killing. At a morning news conference, this is November 15th of this year, attorney Ben Crump stood with family members as he described the lawsuit, saying he hoped federal and city officials would read it and learn all the dastardly deeds that were done by their predecessors and try to right these historic wrongs. The NYPD and CIA did not immediately respond to requests for comments. Nicholas Biase, a spokesperson for the Department of Justice, which was also sued, declined to comment. The FBI said in an email that it was, quote, standard practice, end quote, not to comment on litigation. When I first saw so my naivete was, Minister Services, politics aside, don't front, Ben Crump gets the money for the family's word. So that was, but that's my point, Minister Server. When I got it, my naivete was, I stupidly got excited for a whole 5 minutes at the idea that there would be a trial and we could drag all this shit out and make them suffer through the exposure of and of course that's silly because of course all he wants is a payday. And then with all due respect to the suffering of the families and the estate, sure, get a payday, but for the good of the universe and exposing everything properly, I would hope something else would have occurred more grandiose. Like I want a trial of the century. I want some OJ months long on tape state officials dragged to the stand to reveal all the docket. Like I had a whole little 2-minute fantasy, but no doubt get the money, at least get the money. I don't mind.
Well, in this case, he's getting neither. He's getting money, no money. There's not going to be any money and there's not going to be any trial. The FBI, I mean, this case is now Malcolm's assassination. What are we going on? 50 years, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, the FBI, the CIA, there's not going to be any disclosure of documents, and then they're only going to have the documentation basically that's already been produced. So this case will most likely get thrown out of court. This was an attempt to bring this publicity to Malcolm's assassination again, I would assume, but there is no legal challenge that's going to stand. The CIA and FBI are not going to release documents. They're not going to admit to wrongdoing. They're going to just if it even gets that far to briefing, all they're going to do is suggest they had nothing to do with it and put it back all on the Nation of Islam. So in this case, this is more of a publicity and supporting the family. And making himself look like he's down with, Black self-determination or fighting for Black people. This is more of a publicity stunt for him than it is an actual case in which he's going to win money. And those police misconduct cases, which you obviously you have enough evidence to marshal where these settlements are common. And so Ben Crump may be good at getting higher settlements. But Ben Crump is not known for his litigation practice. He's known for his settlement practice. And so even what Minister Server is alluding to is what he's known for is making sure that families receive compensation in high numbers for the assassination of their family members by the police in general all over the country.
Thank you for making that distinction, Kamal, because I appreciate Crump getting settlements for the families of the victims, but I don't like how the community, Black people in this country, attribute him as being a civil rights attorney And I'm like, I don't think that's what he is. I think he's a personal injury lawyer. You know what I'm saying? Like, and there's a distinction between what, let's say, Thurgood Marshall did versus what Ben Crump does. And can you elaborate on that further? Because when I hear Ben Crump being referred to as a civil rights attorney, it really gets my heckles up, because I'm like, y'all think it's one way, and it's not that way. He don't do that. He does something else.
Well, Trump sues based on federal civil law. And so sometimes those things could be the wording of it becomes interchangeable. But you're right, like somebody who basically is challenging policy and suing based on making policy changes based on larger civil rights statutes and federal statutes, who is normally considered, as you say, like a civil rights lawyer. They are somebody who's changing, who's attempting to change law and policy through the courts. And so they're marshaling evidence, statistical evidence of differences in how one group is treated compared to another. They're uncovering documents that show outright discrimination. And so their role is to try to change through the court system, either unfair laws or to stop fair laws from being taken down. Ben Crump, on the other hand, is marshaling evidence, and I'm not saying this in even a bad way, right? Ben Crump is marshaling evidence to show the unfair murder, which sometimes can be termed as a civil rights violation when it's done by the state, whether that state is federal, quote unquote, a state and or city, municipality, but how the someone who is employed by the state or a representative arm of the state committed an act that led to someone's death in a way that was unjust, was a criminal act in some ways. And then he's basically marshaling evidence to show what this person, the value of this person's life in some ways, what they meant to their family, their jobs, what income they brought in, what the loss of that will be over the next 20, 30 years or whatever. And they're also measuring in some ways the ability to stop the state, supposedly, because this is not true, but to stop the state from doing it again by showing the as Crump would say, the dastardly act, I guess. So how bad it was as a murder or as a case. And so that will get you more money on top of whatever the person's life circumstances were, because sometimes people who are murdered are well, not sometimes, most of the time these murderers are poor people, but some of these settlements are millions and millions of dollars. And so it's also to show the outrageousness by the state and that this stuff should not happen again. And then I also, I always let people know most cities, because this is mostly a municipality thing, most cities in terms of their budgets already put aside money for when their employees, particularly cops, go out and murder people. So not only through insurance, but through the budget, the money that you pay in taxes, there's set-asides that go into funds that are there for lawsuits. And so those are usually sort of the distinctions. There's even, and again, it's the distinction between civil rights lawyer and a human rights lawyer. Human rights lawyers normally, if there is going to be a designation, they're working in international bodies and not necessarily in local bodies or the governing states bodies. So,
yeah, I think and again, I don't discount getting money for the family. That is a definite something. It's not nothing. But I don't like when people be like, oh, well, they gonna get Ben Crump like this nigga's Johnny Cochran. I'm like, y'all are mistaken about what roles our famous litigators have played in our struggle. And Ben Crump is not Johnny Cochran, is not Thurgood Marshall. These are
to my knowledge, Ben Crump is not known as a litigator in terms of him actually going to trial and winning trials. Like most of it, like you said, and you're right. Like there is obviously there's a good part for the individual family, but what we also have, what Ben Crump is particularly good at participating in, is keeping the mill running, right? So this is all become performative. The cops kill people or hurt people, lawyers, and this wasn't popular like 20 or 30 years ago, right? But now it's an active field for lawyers to go into. Lawyers take on cases. They work the system in terms of, again, producing the evidence to show where someone has been injured, the cause of injury, the cops that are lying, and the city settles. and nothing changes internally, really, right? So, but that's now the new way of getting things done, and that's how somebody like Ben Crump makes his money. So you're right. There's something that's okay to get the money, but it's not. And that's why cases like this that he's bringing with with Malcolm's daughters is important for his reputation to also show to project the idea that what he's doing is bigger than that, right? He's not just getting blood money. He is actually an advocate for Black people. And so for him, having that kind of shield of like, I'm this important figure, through this kind of media work that he's doing is important for him to uplift his reputation to be conflated, as you said, with actual attorneys or freedom fighters, even at some point. I think in some ways, unfortunately, that's what this is.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess, I don't know. Big Craig, he kind of gives me the ick, and I can't articulate it beyond what I just did. So
he gives me the ick too. I think I met Ben Crump like once or twice in my life or whatever like that. And again, it's just like, I don't get it. I don't get how he became the new Johnny Cochran. You know what I mean? And I'm not even saying Johnny was our some whatever, but as an attorney, as a lawyer, well, I don't care what you think about Johnny as some sort of freedom fighter, but as an attorney,
but he also, I don't know Crump's background. First of all, I think it's funny. I think you called him Ben Trump a couple times
by mistake, okay.
Yeah, which is funny. But Johnny Cochran also had a legit trial career with some civil rights stuff with it in terms of getting at the police for beating and killing Black people. Mm-hmm. So he did, and then they even remind us in that Edelman documentary that he was so early on as a young lawyer that he had to have a white lawyer speak for him in the courtroom because they wouldn't allow a Black man to question a white man on the stand.
Damn.
So, Cochran, I don't know to what extent Crump has any of that. So I would even on that level want to disassociate those two.
No, I agree with that
in the mind's eye, it becomes very quickly he's the people's lawyer.
And remember also, I think Cochran, if I'm not mistaken, was was Geronimo Pratt's trial attorney when he was convicted. And then he stayed with that case for the next 20 some odd years until Geronimo Pratt was released from prison. Like he worked that case to continue to present evidence to get him out of prison. So again, not saying Johnny Cochran was the height of sort of like a political freedom fighter, but he has a really good history in terms of fighting for the community. OJ aside, But even then, some people consider that a victory for our community at the time, at least. So.
I did. I was guilty as shit of that. I'm not going to front. I can't front. I was totally elated, and it was even then I was conscious of it. It was my happiness at the anger whites were feeling. That was all. I mean, it had nothing to do with almost anything else. I was like, white people are just so mad right now. This is great, and I recognize it's flawed. It's a mess, but I admit that's where I was.
But even when you pull back the layers a little bit of what the collective Black community was experiencing during OJ's acquittal, when you think about, weren't we really rooting for Johnny Cochran? Like, wasn't it more like look at this Black lawyer leading this dream team of white lawyers that are clearly, they do what Johnny say, in my perspective. Like that may not be what was actually happening, but John Cochran was the star of that dream team. You know what I mean? We wanted Johnny.
That works. No, I wasn't even at that level, although I think that what you're saying works. I was just strictly, first of all, I was still mad that they interrupted the damn NBA finals. Like I was still bitter about that. Like, so I was like, this is all an interruption. I don't give a shit about OJ. I don't give a shit. When they had the signs of him at the Million Man March, I was like, this is ridiculous. All the free OJ shit. I was like, get this shit out of here. This is ridiculous. But when I saw the whites upset, and would go to work at Domino's and people are upset, I was like, fuck, this is great. This is great. Then I was like, let me get a free OJ shirt then. If that's going to make you feel like that, Like,
and remember, Johnny Johnny was responsible for a lot of the propaganda, the way people started to view OJ, right? Because nobody was thinking about OJ in the Black community as some uplifting sports figure who was fighting for Black people. Everybody knew OJ was on the other side by this time. He was, in his golf, his tea times, his white women, his elite status. Everybody knew what side of the aisle like OJ was. But Johnny worked that magic. Like he became not only a good litigator in the court, but a media propaganda machine, turning OJ Black again for us, for the community. He was a symbol of resistance for us. You know what I mean? So
of police brutality, corruption. He's framed by the system. Look at this cop out here, calling people niggas, planting evidence. Can't you regular niggas relate to that? Sure can.
Exactly. Sure can.
Hey, did Farrakhan turn Michael Jackson black again?
You mean
like when he got down with the nation? Like, wasn't there a time we was like Mike then went to the other side, or no?
I don't think that was ever. I don't think Mike ever was seen like that. Was he? Mike was
as like other side,
like trying to be white with the hair.
Well, definitely that.
Nose,
I think there was a lot of discussion.
Yeah, but I feel like people always forgave that. Like he got a lot of room. That's what I mean by that. Yeah, there was always discussion like, what the hell's happening to Mike? Was it like I like old Mike, or I don't like the new Mike. But it wasn't. I never got the feeling. To your point about
one
OJ,
kicked Mike out the race. Yeah, no one kicked Mike out the race. The music was too good.
That's what it was.
Too good.
That's what it was.
Like,
because you can go to the hits. You can always play the stuff from back in the day. And be like, okay, that's Michael Jackson.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like
it does.
Molestation,
Thriller. He did Thriller.
All that word exactly.
But when I seen him with the Nation, I was like, oh, word? You fucked with the Nation? I was like, okay, Mike.
I think Mike was trying to do. He was trying to do a little extra, towards the end. When he started talking shit about Tommy Mottola and I'm like,
devil. He said he's the devil.
That's why I was like, that's that Farrakhan talking.
That's that Farrakhan.
Right. Who there gave Mike his bean pie for breakfast?
Hey, bean pie have it? Yeah, I'll call some folks devils for a bean pie, boy. I mean, that shit is good. You damn right, devils. Oh, the funniest moment though. Oh, never. So when my youngest was she must have been like 8 or 9 years old. I had her at WPFW, the radio station, and we were all in the bullpen talking, and it was an all black group discussion, and then one white guy walked in the room just as my daughter, who was eating her snacks, turned to him in her all kindness, offering to share, and said, "Cracker." And the whole room bust out laughing. She didn't even, because it was so she's eating her snack. And he walked in, she was like, "Cracker?" And everybody was like,
perfect timing.
That's my baby girl.
Jared raising him right out here. Way to
go.
I
was like, that's my baby girl. To this day, she remember. I'm like, she's like, what's Daddy's favorite moments? She'll tell that story. That's for me. That's his top 10. For sure. Yeah, that was funny. That was perfect. Yeah. Shout out to baby girl.
My daughter calls white people colonizers. Big up to Black Panther movie for that. Ever since that movie, she called them colonizers.
Oh, speaking of which, you see, they saying Denzel's going to be in the next one.
Yeah.
The next Black Panther movie.
Yeah,
propaganda is going to be messy. It's going to be messy.
Already messy. How is it that what's my brother's name? Jesus, what's the guy's name? Who's the leader?
Boseman.
Chuck Boseman. Thank you. Like, how is it there have been 10 Supermans from Christopher Reeve, but as soon as Chadwick Boseman, the one Black Panther, as soon as he check out, ain't no more. Can't be the Black Panther anymore. It's like, well, Batman gets recast, Superman gets recast, all these other joints get recast. Can't recast Black Panther, huh? You niggas only get one. That's it.
But that's going to be their next move, because they said that all of a sudden he had a son.
Oh yeah, he had a son.
Yeah, so that's going to be the next.
Well, one of the memes has Denzel in the suit.
Oh God, no.
I mean, he might be you never know what he's going to be.
He ain't gonna be. Denzel is like 70-something years old.
Look at these movies though. Did you see? I watched that series, The Old Man, and if they can have dude that played, what is his name? Who played the Big Lebowski? This dude is like 900 Bridges. He's like 900 years old. They got him in there beating up everybody. They got him like choking people out, beating up 30-year-olds and 20-year-old military. I'm like, come on, my get the fuck out of here. So I'm like, that's what I'm saying. The Big Lebowski is whooping everybody's ass at like 90 years old. You know, but nah, man. Yeah, and right, Denzel's the equalizer. Come out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. That's true. That's
and
true.
he got the Steven Seagal moves. You ain't got to do much. Just like
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's always like mad close up when he like it's like 3 moves to take you down.
Let's speed up the footage a little bit, make everybody a little faster. You know what I'm saying?
If only Mike Tyson had that. If only Mike
even Ear Doctor was making all them shots in his commercial. Editing could make a lot of things look good. You know what I'm saying? How many shots did that shit take? And who really made that?
I'm gonna do a live. I'm gonna go out to the basketball court and do a live just so y'all can see his real.
I dare you.
Okay.
I double dare you.
Okay.
Ear Doctor on the basketball court versus Cat Williams on the track. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody got something to prove.
That nigga was fast though. Let's not front.
Ridiculous. With his term waving in the wind. I was like, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
Cat can afford to pay somebody enough to hold up a 4-point whatever on his phone. Get the hell out of here. Speeding up the footage. Get the hell out of here.
I don't like what Ricky's saying right here. I don't like what Denzel is a mediocre actor playing the same person as a doctor, agent, a cop, a soldier, a caring father.
Hey, if you standing next to Ricky in real life, duck. I feel like that's blasphemy. Talking bad about Denzel, duck. The Lord might have something to say about that.
There is a little truth to that, though. I don't know about the range. I'm thinking about the range. Isn't he always the same personality-wise?
I thought he did good as Malcolm. Y'all didn't like, I mean, whatever your personal critiques of the film,
he did
Denzel's performance when Denzel was giving you performance. Wasn't he giving you Ranger?
I'm like thinking.
Wasn't he giving you range? When he was in the zoot suit, he was all happy-go-lucky Malcolm, and then
so much time in the zoot suit.
Black blasphemy. Pookie was right. That is black blasphemy.
Because the director wants a certain type of performance from us, and when they're writing something, they want this actor to do something. So they be like, "Ooh, this person, I know they can pull it off." So they want somebody to stay in their range, and then if they go do something. Like, I think comedians get more love, like a Kevin Hart. Like, I was blown away by his acting skills. I was like, yo, he's good.
Who?
Kevin Hart.
Blown away?
I was. Yo, you got to see some of his non-funny movies,
I've seen it. I would say mildly impressed.
The one with the dude in the wheelchair.
Ooh. Oh, my God.
Blown
away, my nigga. Blown away. By Kevin Hart.
You gotta figure, I mean, on the what I can't even articulate it, but comedy and drama are the opposites, right? So if you're good at comedy, you'd be surprised. I mean, look at Richard Pryor. He had some very impressive dramatic roles, and Jamie Foxx, obviously an impressive, dramatic actor. So I'm not so shocked when comedians turn out to be decent actors. Monique, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So.
There it is,
yeah. Jamie Foxx I thought she was a good mimic. Is he a good actor or a good mimic? What else is he?
Difference? Tell me what's the difference between an actor and a mimic?
Yeah.
Well, Ray Charles, he was great. Now name me another role he was great in.
Every You Given Sunday.
I got to go to this faculty meeting. I'm going to have to dip out.
Oh, damn, it's 10. Oh, yeah. All right, well, we about to get up out of here. Make sure y'all check out.
I didn't mean to cut you off. We got 2 minutes. I just got
me. All right, we got root work coming at 10 o'clock, so make sure y'all tune into that. And then we got a classical breakdown at 11, so stay tuned for that. And we'll be back here tomorrow
for that one, though.
at 8 a.m. for the Remix Morning Show.
Jared, what do we do?
Doing DJ Premiere when I'm not invited and also at a faculty meeting and can't even watch. That's
Ear Doctor. I mean, I would love for Jared to participate. Can we?
No. All right, well, we'll be back tomorrow morning. Thank y'all for tuning in to the Remix Morning Show.
Be your own niggas, Jared.
I know. Kim tried. I appreciate it, Kim. Kim tried. He was like, nah, fuck that. I'm already ready.
Watch the replay. All right. We'll be back. Remix Morning Show, y'all. Peace out. Let's get out of here. Jim Jones. We be here forever, y'all.
Man. Yes, sir.